Hi, I'm Shane with issue.The.to.To. Today you're going to be taking a look at, I'm going to walk you through the installation on the Curt multifunction taillight converter kit on our 2019 Honda Civic. Adding wiring like this is going to give you all the proper functions to safely tow a trailer. It's going to give you your running lights, your brake lights, and both turn signals. This wiring harness is designed to live inside the vehicle. When you're ready to use it, you simply lay it over top of the rubber seal here, close your hatch, plug into your trailer, and you're ready to go. When you're not using it, you simply roll it up and you can store it in an out-of-the-way place inside the back of the car. It's going to give us 5 amps per circuit for our turn signals and 7.5 amps per circuit for our taillights and our running lights. It's also going to come with a nice dust cap that'll help protect our connections from any dirt and debris while we have it stored inside the vehicle. Now, as far as the installation, there's a little bit more involved with this wiring harness because you have to tap into factory wiring. That being said, it is going to have a converter box on it. That converter box is going to protect the factory wiring from any backfeed from the trailer wiring if there's an issue. The converter box mounts inside, close to where you connect to the wires. The hole inside the converter box, it's filled with a potting material, so if the converter box happens to get moved around or it gets a vibration to it, the wires that are connected to the circuit board are going to stay intact. They're not going to break loose like they used to. To start our installation, we need to open our hatch, and we're going to remove some floor coverings in here. Our centerpiece, we just lift up, and we can set it in just like that. Right here in the back, the threshold, we're simply going to pull up. Pop it up like that, we'll set it aside. Over on the driver's side, turn that little knob, pull this panel off. We're going to go ahead and pull our jack out. And we'll just set it aside for now. And if we come right up here on top, there's going to be a little bitty cap. Take a small pick, a trim panel tool. We're going to pop that cap open. There's going to be a small Phillips screwdriver or screw in there. Go ahead and remove that. We're going to have one on each side. We're going to take our panel and pop it out just like this. And what we want to do is right here you have a rubber grommet. We want to gain access to these wires right here. These are the wires that are going out to your taillights. We're going to have a fastener right here. Take a flathead screwdriver, trim panel tool if you have one. We're going to pop that out, just like that. We're trying to give ourselves as much room as possible to these wires going right into that rubber grommet. Now I'm going to very carefully cut this tape back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove our tail light. We're going to have 2 Phillips head screws. You're going to have one here and one on top. Pull those out, and then we'll very carefully get our tail light to pop, just like that. We're going to test the back of our switches here and determine what wires do what functions. So instead of probing each one of the wires inside, because there's a bundle of them, the reason I took my tail light off is I had somebody sit inside, run through the light functions, and all I did was take the plug off and actually probe the end of it. I determined that my green wire, that green wire there, is going to be my brake signal. The larger gray wire up here is my running light signal, and the smaller gray one down here is going to be my turn signal. So now I went inside, I found those 3 wires that match these. I did go ahead and test those 3 wires again just to make sure there's not something between here and there that changes, and it doesn't. So my 3 wires I found on the inside. So now we can go ahead and put our tail light back in place. So as I mentioned, green is going to be our brake light. And you can see the 2 different sizes in the gray wires. This one's a little bit smaller. The larger gray one is going to be the running light, and the smaller gray one is going to be our turn signal. Rather than taking our wire and going all the way over to the passenger side and taking all this out over there also, along with the taillight, these wires run from here over to the back of the taillight. We determined that our green wire, the same as the green wire here, is going to be our brake light signal on both sides. The large gray wire is going to be our running light signal on both sides. The only difference between this side and that side is instead of having the small gray wire as our turn signal, for our passenger side it's going to be the peach wire. Now we're going to take our wiring harness. We're going to have 4 wires that are coming off it that are open-ended. Our green wire, which is for passenger side turn signal. Yellow wire is for driver side turn signal. Red wire is for our stop lamp. Brown wire is going to be for our running lights. If you have a 2-wire system, this red wire would not be used. It would actually be grounded. You're going to have some connectors. Because these wires are so small, we're not going to actually cut them and splice into them. We're actually going to use these connectors that come in the kit. It is going to make it a little bit easier. We'll take our large gray wire, which is our running light signal. We'll take our brown wire, stick the end in like that. And we're going to push down that tab there. Get it down. Go ahead and close the lid. Just like that. Yellow wire is going to be our turn signal. We're going to attach that to this small gray one. And we're going to do it the same way. Again, yellow wire goes to small gray wire, which is going to be our left turn signal. Red wire is going to go to green wire, which is our brake light signal, and our brown wire goes to the large gray wire, which is going to be our running light signal. The only thing we have left to do is hook up to our passenger side turn signal, which is going to be the peach wire. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mount it right here. Make sure that the surface is flat. Now we can take all of our wires, bundle them up. I'm going to zip tie them right to this factory wiring. We have a factory ground right here, so my white wire coming off of my converter box, I can ground there rather than drilling another hole. The only thing left to do is run our power wire from here up to the front of the car to the battery. So now we have a bundle of power wire that comes in your kit, and it's going to get connected to the black wire coming off of your converter box. We have to run that up to the front of the vehicle to the battery. This grommet right here on the outside actually comes out right on top of the heat shield covering the exhaust. These two here actually go into the frame rail, and I don't know for sure where we will be able to get out up front, so we're going to be using this one. You want to strip back your wire. In your kit, you're going to get butt connector. I'm going to crimp it down. Add it onto the black wire coming off of the converter box. And crimp it down. Take your excess. I'm not going to push it all down in there because we got to put this panel back in and we don't want it to get caught up. What I'm going to do is take my grommet, cut a slit in it, and try and get my grommet to go back in. Just like that. So as I mentioned, my power wire comes right down on top of my heat shield. I'm going to make sure we're running this. You stay away from anything hot or moving. The heat shield is there to protect heat from getting to anything inside or the bottom part of the vehicle here. So with us going above our heat shield, we have enough protection on our wiring. I went over top of my rear axle. I came down right here next to the tank. Went through this brace here, and you're going to have a large cardboard panel that goes from here all the way up to the front. Flathead screwdriver, I popped off the fasteners here. These fasteners here just twist off. You can lower this side of the panel, and I set my wire up inside and then reinstall my fasteners. Wire comes out this end. I went back behind, up in here. I have a CV axle here, So what I did is I ran behind where my mount is going to my frame. I went back behind that, so when I pull my wire up to the top, it'll stay away from this axle moving in and out. It'll actually pull my wire to the inside of the frame rail. I'm using airline tube to get my wire up top. You can use pretty much anything if it has a little bit of stiffness to it, if you have a wire hanger, anything like that. So now what we'll do is we'll go up top, we'll get our wire pulled up and get it connected to our battery. Now we'll pull our wire up top. I'm actually going to run it back like this through here. Since my engine is actually straight underneath, this will give us a little bit of a heat shield. I'm going to cut our wire down to size. In your kit, you're going to have a fuse holder. Make sure the fuse isn't in it. Cut the wire in half. Strip back both ends. Add your ring terminal. The other end, you're going to add your second yellow butt connector. Strip back your black wire. Add on your fuse holder. Crimp it down. Take the positive side and we're going to add it onto the positive side of our battery. 10mm wrench. Remove the nut. Add on your ring terminal. We'll add on a ring terminal. I'm going to put a small washer on, and then I'll have my nut back over there. Once you get it on, add your fuse, and we'll test everything out and make sure it's working properly. Brakes, running lights, left turn, right turn. Once you've tested everything out, you know it's working correctly, you can go ahead and reinstall your panels. Again, I'm Shane with issue.The.to.To. I hope this video has helped you, whether you're still deciding or installing the Curt multi-function taillight converter on your 2019 Honda Civic.